Is this the most insane multi-effects pedal available today? Hello people, Joe from Hello Stereo Effects here. Welcome to today's mini video. In today's video we're going to discuss this custom 4-in-1 multi-effects pedal. Just how did this pedal come about? Well, as some of you may know if you've been following my social media channels, I recently took a trip to that pedal show. I took along my pedal board and when I uncovered it, Dan graciously said, well, in his usual manner, "Oh dude," and then he said, "Hey, the switcher," which of course I built myself, crudely I might add. He said, "Why aren't you making a multi-effects pedal in this size enclosure with all of these switches? You could do it yourself." And I thought, there's probably not going to be a market for that because they're a little bit expensive. However, when I put it out to Instagram, I was completely wrong. And I think I got like 4 orders off the bat. So I put it into production. And this is the latest one. So just what's inside this 4-in-1 beast anyway? Well, first up, we have a dual range master. Now, this dual range master has got everything from an NKT 275P, which I'd never heard of, right the way through to Soviet military capacitors and an input transformer. It's high gain and it's almost fuzz. Both of the controls control each Rangemaster circuit working in series. So you have the initial Rangemaster, which is powered by an NKT 275P, firing into another Rangemaster. They're probably my favourite Rangemaster transistors outside of Mullard. So what differs that from any other one that I build normally? Well, I had to do some tuning of this circuit to make it play well with the other pedals inside this beast, mainly because there's so much gain and it amplifies everything. So every little noise in your signal chain, this thing will amplify and put on show for the world to see. The most versatile part of this dual Rangemaster is of course the EQ switch. In the center position, you get that upper mid-range spike that cuts through the mix and is very usable in context with the other pedals inside this multi-effects pedal. When you flip to the up position, you get that lower mid-range growl that I often describe as rauque, and that's kind of where I live within my own tone quest. When you flip to the down position, that gives you the full range boost, which can oftentimes be bassy and almost fuzz face like. Next up, we have the oldest pedal in my lineup. It is the Kossoff drive. This is my lower tam wired on tag board, which is why this pedal's massive for only 4 circuits inside. And basically the Kossoff drive is 3 cascading gain stages, which are all JFETs, with a post-gain EQ. Now this is my most blues boomer sound and overdrive. So if that's the sort of sound that you're into, then you would love this circuit. Next up, we have the classic Anchor drive. This is my most versatile gain pedal. It does everything from clean, transparent boost, all the way through to broken speaker, almost fuzz, and everything in between. It excels at 70s rough rock. Now, this pedal all depends on how you set it. The controls are master volume, gain 1 and gain 2. So if you pin both gain 1 and gain 2 and dial back the master, you're going to get almost fuzz broken speaker sound. Now if you were to crank the master full and dial back gain 1 and 2, you will get a transparent boost that literally does not colour your circuit at all. And everywhere in between, you get more range of tones and colours depending on where you're setting the knobs. The Anchor drive is also wired on tag board, same as most of my pedals. Last on the pedal list should be a reverb, because no one can play without reverb. Can we? Anyway, we're going to assume that we've got reverb inside our amplifier. And last, I went for a 4-knob delay. Now, my 4-knob delay has just recently been named. It is now called the Seawolf delay, and this is actually the first time that I'm announcing it. The Seawolf delay is my take on the Mad Professor Deep Blue delay. Don't worry, it's been modified so it's not the same. However, in fact, it's got an extra control for a start. This is the only pedal, or the only circuit inside this pedal, should I say, that is not wired on a tag board. And that's because there's so many components, including the 16-pin IC, and there's no way I'm bothering to wire that onto a tag board. It will make the pedal the size of a house. However, it is wired with vintage components and some Mojo components to give it that Hello Sailor look about it. We're talking about carbon comp resistors and Mullard tropical fish caps. This delay pedal was an absolute hit at the recent Hackney Guitar Show, where the organiser actually ordered one of these pedals from me, which I'm building right now. He liked the fact that you could get the pedal to feed back into itself. Now, it is a digital delay, as in the IC inside it is a digital delay IC. However, because I like running things wet dry, or how do you say, TPS wet dry, for lack of a better word, because I know it's not real wet dry. Let's not get into that. Anyway, because I like running my amplifiers like that, I had to add analog drive-through. So it does have analog drive-through, so you won't have phasing issues if you like to run two amplifiers. All of this pedal is true bypass. There is no buffers inside here. It's just 4 switches wired up in true bypass, one after another. So it keeps your signal chain compact and clean. You could take just this box to a gig with a single power supply, or even one single battery snap with a 9-volt battery, and that is your whole rig ready to go. Well, providing you've got reverb in your amplifier, right? This pedal is all true bypass. There's no buffers inside, so you get a clean signal. It'd be perfect for a gig if you want to just throw one single pedal into your gig bag with one power supply and one cable, and away you go. So if this isn't the standard model, just how do you go about getting your own? Well, for this one, the customer got in touch and sent me this cool artwork of a Styracosaurus. I had to look that up to find out what dinosaur it was, because an archaeologist I am not. Anyway, he got in touch, give me the colour, give me the artwork, and told me what circuits he wanted inside, and then let me go. After the fact, he noticed that I posted on Instagram a picture of an NKT 275p that I managed to find, and he got in touch and asked if he could have it in his pedal, and of course I'm willing to accommodate. At this point, if you're still watching, I'd like you to write in the comments and tell me what 4 pedals, they don't have to be mine, but what 4 pedals would you have in your custom multi-effects pedal? I'll go first. For me, I'd have an R2R electric treble booster in the first position, has to be. And then in the second position, I'd have the D&M drive, because you get 2 overdrives. The Tube Screamery boosty type one, and then Dan's Blues Drivery one. Both of them together is a great pedal. Then after that, I'd have some sort of delay, probably the Homebrew Electronics delay. I know that they're no longer in production, but they made this fantastic one called the Mach 2. If you can get hold of them, I highly recommend you do. And then in the 4th position, I'd have probably the Demidash T120, the Videotape Echo. That delay is fantastic. At this point of the video, I'm going to go through all of the tones that I would use out of this pedal. Now, of course, that's not going to be exhaustive because, well, I'm not really a guitarist, I'm an engineer. I'd love to know what settings you would use and what pedals inside here you would stack together to get your tones. And also, what amplifier would you use? Now, for me, it is, of course, the DP40. Anyone who's been to any guitar show I've been to knows that I always have my DP40 with me from Victory. It's a V40, only painted purple for Danish Pete. Cheers, Pete. And it is the best pedal platform ever, and that's what I'd use with it. What would you use?